There's no sync because I'm going direct into camera. I've had 2 cups of coffee. Kind of dangled those there. Kitty, what are you doing in there? Get it out of that tripod case. You should see Kitty over here. She's in the tripod case. Meow. Oh, I'm gonna be so mad if you pee in there. I am ready for this. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Brenton Extran. I'm a freelance filmmaker and DP. And today I'm gonna talk a little bit about my setup here and the Nanlite Pavo tubes, which I'm using kind of as a key light and as a backlight. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and I'm gonna be able to show you the key light I have set up right here. So these are the 4-foot Pavo tubes. And I've got this one over here set to daylight, so 5600 Kelvin. And I think I've got it around 30% brightness. So this is kind of giving me a nice, soft, very wide light. I could also flip it vertically, but it wouldn't give me as soft of shadows on my nose, which is kind of what I'm looking for. That way I don't get too harsh of shadows on like vertical lines. I want to kind of smooth them over. So that's why I have the light horizontal. So over here, I've got the other Pavo tube. So this is another 4-foot tube. They're in like a 2-light kit. This is set for the red on the hue spectrum. And I have it about 50%. And it's got kind of a nice backlight coming off of me right now. And then I also have this little Bluetooth Philips Hue bulb I can control with my phone. And I'm kind of letting this emphasize this light. It's almost too emphasized though. It's hard to tell that this is actually illuminated on camera unless I turn that off. So this is my 2-light setup right now. Normally I'll actually have a softbox giving me a key light, but I wanted a really quick setup and I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of highlight these Pavo tubes and how nice they are to work with on set because they're battery powered and they are portable. The battery lasts about 2 to 2.5 hours. I think it's at 2.2 hours on the B&H store. At 100% brightness. So right now, this is going at 30%, and then this guy's going at 50%. So I could presumably get 3 to 4 hours on these tubes right now, which is really cool. So over here, we got my new mic set up here. So this is the Rode NTG3. So this is a really cool, I believe it's super cardioid, so it's a condenser mic. And it allows for a pretty directional channel for picking up audio. It's not a dynamic mic. It's not like I've got an SM57 over here somewhere. It's not like an SM57. Hold on. It's not like the SM57. So right here, this is a dynamic mic. So this is kind of like a reverse speaker. So a really small speaker with a it's kind of like, so it's got the magnet and it's got the basically like paper cardboard, kind of like a speaker. And so that's what this is really good at, is getting like nice and close and doing really isolated audio. But it's not very good once you get far away. So right here, I've got it really close. So theoretically I could use this in its place, but still, this is a little bit far for an SM57, so the Rode NTG3 works really well for what I'm doing right here. And typically, I'm even a little bit farther away from a client or a talent with this mic, and I can still get a really good signal with not too much noise. This mic is pretty comparable to the the Sennheiser MK416. That's definitely right up there with this mic. The mic's a little bit more expensive. I think those are about $1,000 typically. I got this for about $700. The price varies usually based on like sales and stuff. But I got this for a pretty good deal. It was about $700 and I really like the way it sounds so far. And the last part of my setup is the camera. So the lens I'm using right now is the Canon 10-18. So it's a APS-C style like crop lens, but it's really cool because I can get super wide, I can get really close, and it just gives me a lot of flexibility. So I have it like 12 millimeters. Yeah, I'm at 12 millimeters right now. to give me a nice field of view, kind of like, I don't know, the YouTuber look is what I kind of call it. So the camera behind me, or that's filming me right now, is the Canon C300 Mark III. So this camera is really cool. It's pretty new still. I think the Mark II came out, it was a while ago now, like 2015. So this is really new. It came out just about 2 months ago is when they started to ship, was when I got mine. But this camera is really cool, totally overkill for basic YouTube stuff, but I typically use it for freelancing commercial work. So this camera is super cool. I'm recording in a lower bit rate right now on it. So I'm in 4K, and then I'm in the 160 megabit per second codec, which is a long GOP codec, which is really cool, nice and compressed, really small, manageable file sizes. They're a little difficult to edit on my system sometimes, but I have a pretty beefy Ryzen system built, so it doesn't have too much of an issue. But I definitely have an issue with the codec on a lot of MacBooks that I used to edit on. It would be pretty sluggish, pretty slow, so you definitely need a nice beefy system to edit the long GOP codec on here. So the last part of my system, or my setup here, you can't really see, is the tripod. So I'm gonna take this off the sticks and film the tripod itself. Okay, so right here we have the tripod. Okay, so this is a Benro BV10. And I don't know what the sticks are called. You can get them separately, but it's the Benro BV10 kit. It's a really great tripod. It's got a nice balance of features for how much it cost. Similar price to the mic. So these are about $1,000, give or take, depending on like what region you're in. So this is really cool. It's got a nice 22-pound counterbalance on the fluid head, which is really important because once I get some rails, another monitor, and like a gold mount hooked up, I get just underneath that threshold. So this is a really great tripod for kind of freelancing, kind of what I do. I was also considering some of the larger tripods Benro makes, such as the BVX16, which is a pretty big fluid head. I think it gets up to 35 pounds, which is much beefier. So you can put like big, Canon cinema zooms on your cameras, and you won't have any problem like balancing those. So for me right now, this is totally adequate and even just a little bit overkill. But I like how fluid and I like how smooth the panning is. I don't really have any complaints about it. Even though it's brand new, it still feels kind of like I can work in some of the fluid. So I'll be able to have just a little bit more smoothness over time. But even out of the box, it's pretty great. So that's kind of wraps up my system right now. I think I'm going to talk about my computer in the next video and kind of what I have set up and what I use for editing, what programs I use, and kind of how I've configured my system to be the best for what I do for video editing and for color grading. So that was just a quick walkthrough of my setup here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!